Okay, we gotta talk. I'm sure I don't need to tell you how bad the PC tech industry is right now. And it can get pretty depressing, especially if you look at some of the other creators. We understand it's bad. But I've got some hot takes. And I've also been desperate to find some good, positive news. So here are two things that I'm trying to achieve with this video. Firstly, I'm gonna show you some cheat sheets or cheat things that I found online. I don't know how long they're gonna last. And secondly, I wanna talk about something that you can do right now with your current setup without spending any extra money to actually increase performance. Let's talk. It's so annoying. I don't want to pay hundreds of dollars to just change my Windows wallpaper just because my Windows isn't licensed. Well, why don't you try Hookeys? That's a ton cheaper, and if you use the code TN20, you get it even cheaper. What do you mean? How do I get it and how is it possible? Well, see this video here, or the one you're watching? Click in the link on the video description, add the Windows 11 CD product to the cart, proceed to checkout, add the code TN20 for the extra discount. So the Windows 11 Pro OEM key is just $23.22. Yeah. Choose the preferred payment option and complete the purchase. The key will be available on the purchased orders in a few moments. Copy the key and paste it into your Windows activation settings, and you're all done. Well, that was easy. Is that Ryan Gosling? No. Anyway, by the way, the same discount code also works website-wide, so go check out other products, maybe like Microsoft Office. So hopefully the next 10 points are going to put a little bit of a smile on your face. I'm gonna start with the best things first, okay? We always leave best to last. Why don't we start with the best things first? Okay, number one is a hot take of, do you know what? Upgrade your CPU. No matter what people say right now, that, oh, you shouldn't be building a PC and things like that, upgrading your CPU actually makes a ton of sense. In fact, we actually did that with our editor. We were running the 13900K and we upgraded to the 270K plus from Intel because it's super cheap, and for creators, obviously, it's very, very good. If you're a gamer and you want to do other things, maybe upgrading to AMD is fine. Just hear my point out. What I'm saying is, when upgrading your CPU, you're actually upgrading your RAM. You're thinking, what the heck? Now, I don't know if you are in the same situation as we were, but we were running a 6000 megahertz RAM rated by XMP on the 13900K, but because we had 4 sticks, the IMC was not able to keep up with the actual memory speeds. So we had lowered the memory speed down to 5000, and that gave us a solid performance. It never crashed at 5000. 5200 eventually started crashing, but 5000, like literally, it was completely fine. Now when upgrading our CPU to the 270K plus, what happens is we can run our RAM at 6000 megahertz across 4 sticks. Suddenly our RAM goes boom, 1000 extra megahertz. Now, I haven't tried to push this even further because that is like according to the actual spec of, the RAM. I know that the actual CPU can go even further. I think the CPU supports 7200 like natively in terms of IMC, maybe even more if I'm not mistaken. But when you always have 4 sticks, there's a bit of a, you have to give a little bit of performance because 2 sticks performance versus 4 sticks, it's not exactly the same. And then I don't know if my RAM can be pushed, but Asus, if you're using Asus motherboards or sometimes other manufacturers as well, you have something in the BIOS that's called Asus Tweaked. So you can basically click that RAM profile. So instead of the XMP that comes with your RAM sticks that is supported, Asus has tested the RAM with the motherboard and that CPU, for example, and then realized we can actually push it a bit further and then giving you the settings. So installing them, you actually are unlocking your RAM performance. And no one wants to pay extra for the RAM. To get extra for your RAM right now, that's good news. So this happened to us, and I thought, I'm gonna share this with you because maybe you're in the same situation. Take advantage of that, because the CPU upgrade right now, it's actually very affordable, especially the 270K. It's like ridiculous. I think when we upgraded, it's like less than $300, something like that. But right now it is around $300, and for creators, it's literally better than anything that AMD offers, especially if you're doing video editing and so on. Number 2 is to do with GPUs. Now, you maybe have been eyeing the 5090s, and we all know what's happened to the 5090 pricing with AI and everything. It's like now $4,000, $5,000, something like that. It's just absolutely ridiculous, right? And you're thinking, I've been saving to buy this $3,000 GPU, and now like I don't even have 60% of what I need. Here's the thing, maybe you shouldn't buy the 5090, but there's a better option available. What are you talking about? Well, when we were at Computex, I remember going to the PNY booth. Most of the things there were about gaming, but then there was this one PC setup that had 2 GPUs in, and this guy suddenly started talking and showing to me about the performance of Blender rendering, and I was like, wait a second, this is genius. So I'm hoping that we're gonna get this in, so I can actually demonstrate this to you as well. Behind the scenes, I'm talking with the PNY to make sure that we can actually make this video and so on. So when this comes in, I don't know when this video comes out, but hopefully. Anyway, stay around, subscribe, timelines all over the place. But basically, what PNY has done is they have made an RTX 5080 that is slim. Now, as far as I know, there is not a lot of 5080s that are slim. And by slim, I mean true 2-slot card. And if you've got a true 2-slot card, what you can do is have 2 GPUs installed onto your motherboard in here. 2 slots, then you've got a gap, and then extra 2 slots. If you've got any other normal 5080s, they're just gonna cover everything, and one is gonna heat up the other one and la-da-da, la-da-da. But PNY just made something really, really amazing. Now, if you look at the pricing for that 5080, I think let me just look how much this is on Amazon. It's around $1,300. Check the links in the description below if you want to check this out. And you can get 2 of them for around $2,600, and the 3D rendering performance, and depending on your workflow, depending what you're doing, sometimes is better than a 5090. Now, I know you gamers are probably going to be a little bit mad, and I don't know if anyone has tested 2 of these cards for gaming and so on, but for creators, we can get pretty good performance. Especially in DaVinci Resolve, for example, if you're doing video editing and you're wanting 5090, hey, just get 2 5080s. It's cheaper and can be better performance. Just stick around when I'm actually going to validate all of these numbers and not just what the manufacturers are saying, and we'll really see what the performances are going to be like. But that is amazing. So if you want to check it out, I'm going to leave the link in the description below. Number 3 is monitors. Now, maybe monitors is something that you have not paid attention whatsoever, but let me bring you up to speed. Monitor deals, there's loads. I mean, there is so many. It's actually insane. Like when I was at Computex, there was monitor manufacturers that I have never heard of that produced absolute amazing stuff. Everyone's got an OLED model somewhere. Everyone's got just amazing monitors. So if you look around, monitors are actually affordable. I don't know, the storage and RAM prices, they haven't been affected by monitor manufacturers yet. So I don't know how long this is gonna last, but while you're there thinking everything kind of is bad and even a monitor looks crap, perhaps it's a monitor upgrade time. In fact, we are seriously considering this right now, and I'm looking at all the choices out there. Everyone's got so many nice choices. Even ASRock is making monitors. And you might be saying, yeah, OLED has been taken for a while and OLED's been still like crap and OLED burning. Actually, do you know what? OLED's got generation after generation, and this is not like the first or second or third generation of OLED. OLED technology is really solid right now. Just have a look at some of the gaming monitors from ROG, or have a look at our latest video or last video where I was like 10 deals that I would actually buy right now. There are some monitors in there that are just insane price. I'm gonna leave some in the description below if you wanna check them out as well. But monitor is one of those things that actually makes you feel like your workflow is going faster. If you're currently on a 60 Hz screen, for example, and then now when you upgrade to 240 Hz OLED, for example, suddenly everything that you're doing feels more snappy, and it feels more instant, it feels more smooth, and it feels like it's gone faster, even though your performance is kind of the same. But the way you interact with your computer has gone faster. So perhaps consider that. That's a great option. Okay, number 4 is something that I don't know how long this is gonna last. So when you're watching this, Just act fast, okay? I don't know what your cooling is right now in your PC, but Arctic is running, maybe this is a mistake, okay? Their Amazon listing for their Arctic Liquid Freezer 3 Pro models, it's just so cheap. I don't know how Arctic is making any money on those coolers. If you're looking to upgrade your cooler and perhaps like future-proof it a little bit, just buy one of the Arctic liquid freezers right now. They're like, I think $60 or $80 for the 360 and 420 models. When I was looking and researching like what's happening, I was like, I don't know how long this is gonna last. In fact, I didn't contact Arctic to ask them about it because I don't want them to know what someone's done, because maybe someone's made a mistake on there, and this is so affordable, it's ridiculous. Go check it out, because these used to go like 100 and like more than double the price. And this is not even like deal season, so I don't know what's going on. Number 5, power supplies. And as much as you're thinking, okay, mate, you're just stretching this here, like you're trying to give us things to buy. Not really. I've just been trying to stay positive about all of this, and just think about what power supply are you running right now. Here's what's happened. Because no one's buying really RAM or building new computers, they're not really buying power supplies. Because most of the time people don't upgrade the power supply. They just buy a new power supply when they buy a new PC or when they build a new PC. Does that make sense? So now, power supply pricing actually is very, very affordable. And people are coming up with higher models of power supplies. We've got ASRock's got insane power supplies coming out. Asus, MSI, everyone's got like a beast power supply. ATX 3.1, PCIe 5.1, and all of these certifications. But that means that there's good news for us. The power supplies are actually very affordable. So if you want to upgrade your power supply, maybe just think about it. Here's a few reasons why you might want to do that. When you're upgrading your power efficiency, you're actually consuming less electricity even with the same components, because it's more efficient, it pulls less power, and it's going to save you. Now, this is not going to make you rich, but the more you use it, the more you're going to save. The more powerful components you have, the more you're going to save. If you've got like a higher end consumer unit, either Core Ultras or Ryzen 9s with RTX 5080s or 5090s, or even Threadripper or Xeon systems, and you're running 80 plus gold, seriously consider upgrading. And secondly, if you want to future-proof yourself, once the rest of the components are going to go down in price, what happens is people are buying power supplies again, demand is suddenly more, prices are going to rise, and then you're going to pay more your power supply. But think a little bit ahead now. Are you going to upgrade maybe the end of 2027 or maybe 2028? Maybe worth buying the power supply now when it's actually cheap. If you want to check out some of my favorites, I'll leave the link in the description below. Now, what if you don't want to spend some money? Here are a few of the things that maybe are a little bit more affordable in order to upgrade your workflow or whatever you're doing. Number 6, thermal paste upgrade. Now, I don't know when you built your PC or when was the last time did you actually check the temperatures or your thermal paste application. Maybe it's time to upgrade it or actually just renew it. You maybe bought yourself a cooler. Often in the cooling package there is thermal paste already included for a second or third application. Just remove your cooler, wipe it all clean, put a new thermal paste on, slap it back on, and you might actually improve your thermal performance. Better thermals can often mean better CPU speeds and faster workload, because it can just keep it not thermally throttling. Just double check that you're not thermally throttling is my point. That does not cost you anything extra. Number 7 is something that we upgraded, and I know I'm in a fortunate position where we can get sometimes free equipment from the manufacturers, but this really made a huge difference, so worth considering. If you haven't seen our Wi-Fi 7 video, go check it out, because in there basically I found that the Wi-Fi 7 upgrade, and I thought Wi-Fi 6 is fast enough. Apparently I was wrong. I did not know how much faster this is. I can transfer all the footage wirelessly now through this guy in here on an SD card faster than I have been connected with some of the other computers. It's absolutely amazing. I'm gonna leave that video and my favorite router in the description below if you haven't upgraded to Wi-Fi 7 and you're using a lot of wireless. It actually really changed our workflow. That is so much faster. I'm loving it. I know this costs yet, but let's go back to the reasons that don't cost you. Number 8, this might be quite basic, but when was the last time you updated your BIOS, checked your XMP, updated your drivers, including GPU drivers, chipset drivers, Windows drivers, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth drivers, because sometimes old Wi-Fi and Bluetooth drivers can actually be bad in terms of cybersecurity. Did you know that? Now, update them. Just press the update and run through some updates, update the BIOS. Because when updating the BIOS, often the BIOS manufacturers or the motherboard manufacturers offer you better RAM support. Now, whatever RAM or whatever you're running there currently, you might be able to push a little bit more performance out of your system. Maybe you're a creator and you've been running the same system for a while, but have not enabled XMP or have not tried to overclock or run things a little bit unlimited. Here's kind of where I'm going to say, try enabling XMP, try enabling, precision boost overdrive on AMD, or just opening the power limits on Intel, because maybe you have overspec cooler and you actually can push your components to be a lot faster by just letting the overclock or the motherboard do its own thing. I'm not saying like, trying to fiddle with the overclocking thing. If you don't know how to do that, it just goes over head for most people. But there's very simple AI features in the BIOS that you just kind of click on and it just tries to give you more performance. Update the BIOS and see what happens. If it doesn't work, just push it down. At least you haven't spent any more money. Nothing's gonna happen. The worst that can happen is you get more performance and maybe more stable performance because things are more updated. Number 9, this might be very simple, but when was the last time you checked your filters or cleaned your PC? Because you might be surprised how much dust is in there, resulting in higher thermals, worse of a performance. So just try to clean your PC, okay? Just hoover your filters, dust filters, get them out, go outside, hoover them. If they're plastic, just wash them underneath the sink, off you go, put them back in, Bob's your uncle, and you get better performance. Number 10 is checking out your Windows startup system. So sometimes you don't know that you've been installing lots of things, and then when you kind of turn your PC on, you're suddenly like, oh my word, why are things just taking so ages? Well, it's because you've got lots of things starting in the background. Sometimes you don't need your OneDrive to start, or your Edge to start, or your antivirus to start, or Elgato stuff to start, or whatever stuff you've got running in the background. Just don't make them automatically start in the background and just take up your resources. X them off, kick them off, uninstall some rubbish from your PC, and it actually can be faster. Anyway, these have been my 10 tips, and hopefully this has been helpful for you. If you want to pick up any of the things that I've talked about, links are down there below. But also, I would love to know what you are finding in the comment section below. I think there's always interesting conversation happening there. So I'll meet you down there. Thanks guys for watching. I'll see you soon. Stay positive. Bye-bye.